In this video, I'm gonna recommend a complete stranger, one cheap fragrance, one designer fragrance, and one niche fragrance. This is a tag video that Nate at Paragon Fragrances challenged me to do. He challenged me. He literally poked me in the mouth.
Chad, you're up.
I felt that. Sorry it took so long. I'm gonna tag Chad from A Gentleman's Journey, and pretty much anyone that wants to do this tag, please do this tag. Please tag me in the video so I can watch your video. I'm gonna reorganize it a little bit and start with the cheapie. So my cheap fragrance in this video is going to carry you from pretty much any situation, any time of the year, in pretty much any age group. Kayed Alfresson by Lattafa. You cannot go wrong with this fragrance. I'm telling you right now, $23 Canadian. When we're talking cheapies, this is like the cheapest you can go. That's about $17 USD. But obviously price point does not matter here if it doesn't smell good. So what are you picking up here? This fragrance opens with this very bright, fruity pineapple note. It also has like an underlaying of this ambroxan and fir balsam combo, which kind of give it this like piney, spicy nuance. Picture like pine needles or like a Christmas tree type of smell. Picture like a Dior Sauvage-like or like a Prada Luna Rosa carbon, but with pineapple. Like the pineapple that you get from like something like Aventus. Obviously, it's not even close to any of these fragrances, but this carries all-season versatility. It does have that sweetness from the pineapple, but it does have some warming elements from like woods, amber, and oud that are sitting a little bit lower beneath this fragrance. It starts out bright, ends up ambery, woody, and it smells at least 4 times more expensive than you're getting it for at $23 Canadian. You want a cheap fragrance, you want to respray it throughout the day, you don't want to be concerned about the price point. This is your fragrance. It's going to carry you through everything, and you will not be concerned about how much each spray is costing. Did I mention it has a magnetic cap for that price point? The bottle looks like a Dior Sauvage mixed with a Bleu de Chanel. Try it out, thank me later. That was my cheap fragrance. So on to the designer level. What fragrance would I recommend as a designer fragrance to a complete stranger? That would have been Acqua di Gio Profumo, except this has been discontinued. And at this current moment, I cannot recommend the Parfum because, let's be honest, it's kind of like a reformulated Profumo. Although it's not too bad, I just think that this is 10 times better. But what else would it have been? This designer fragrance is hard not to recommend because I've already recommended it to one of my friends as a do-it-all type of fragrance. That's Versace Dylan Blue. This is a do-it-all type of fragrance. Super nice, and it has a little bit of depth, okay? So it opens nice and bright with a bit of a citrusy kind of grapefruit combination with an underlaying of ambroxan, incense. It's a little bit of a smoky, aquatic. There's a lot going on here, and it's perfumed by a master perfumer, Alberto Morillas. If you are to buy one designer and start off with any designer fragrance, I think that this has to be it. It will carry you not only through the fall, winter, and springtime, which I think it's best suited for, spring, summer nights. Just spray a bit heavier to match the occasion. This fragrance will carry you through pretty much every occasion. Now, the friend that I recommended this to, he only sprays like 1 or 2 sprays, and it smells absolutely fantastic. It's fresh, clean, with depth. The incense just adds a completely different layer to this fragrance that makes it smell twice as expensive as it actually is. But it is also a compliment puller, which I think is absolutely necessary when it comes to designer fragrances, because let's be honest, when it comes to designers, that's what you're usually looking for, and I don't blame you. And if I didn't mention this fragrance at least once in this video, I would probably regret it. Dylan Blue was around $79 Canadian and around $58 USD, give or take. When it comes to niche fragrances, it's such a hard recommend to people because the price point is absolutely insane on most niche fragrances, and because niche can be a little bit more challenging than designer fragrances. So it's like, what do I recommend in this situation? At first, I was gonna recommend Parfums de Marly Greenly, which is a fragrance that I absolutely love. I think it's fresh, it's clean, it's apple, it's nice, it's very versatile, but it has that kind of designer feel to it, and it's super expensive, and the performance is not the best. That's why I'm not going to recommend this fragrance. Then I thought, you know what? I need to give them a bit of a challenge and give them Parfums de Marly Latent Exclusive. And I thought, you know what? This is a very good way to make someone never want to smell fragrances again, because this is a bit challenging. And also Latent Exclusive is like $450 Canadian. I still think it's one of the best Parfums de Marly fragrances. After that, I thought, okay, maybe I'll recommend Xerjoff Herba Pura. This fragrance is pretty much a bowl of fruits with some musk. It can come across a little bit feminine in nature, very strong and potent. For a niche fragrance, this isn't all that challenging. I think that a niche fragrance should be a good entry point into niche, showing you that it's more of a challenging category, that there are more expensive ingredients added to niche fragrances. There's a little bit more thought and freedom in terms of the quality and prices of ingredients that are put into niche perfumery. Originally, I was gonna go with Cedrat Boisé. Nate, you took my fragrance, and I know that Ross also thought you did too. That's the perfect recommendation, but I'm gonna go with the exact same house. That is by Mancera, and this fragrance is Red Tobacco. Now hear me out. This is an actually challenging fragrance to pull off, and that's exactly why I think Mancera's Red Tobacco is the perfect entry point to niche. If you're paying for a niche fragrance, you're gonna expect something a little bit more challenging, more expensive, with higher quality ingredients and smelling different from designer fragrances. And it's powerful and it's potent, and you can tell that there was no limitations on the quality of ingredients that were put on here. This is one of the strongest fragrances in my collection, and that's why it's such an easy recommendation to give to anyone on the street that wants to feel what niche is without paying niche prices. This was $120 Canadian for 120 ml. That's $1 per milliliter. You cannot complain at the price for this quality. That's like $89 USD basically. Presentation, strong magnetic cap. In Red Tobacco, you're getting things like tobacco, obviously, Madagascar vanilla with some amber, some patchouli, some oud, which is actually very expensive, some incense, Gaiac wood, which gives it a woody, smoky feel, cinnamon. Also get a little bit of a leathery undertone to this fragrance. Sometimes this comes across on my skin like eucalyptus with some smoke and tobacco and sweetness added to it. 1 to 2 sprays is all you need. I'm telling you right now, you spray on 1 to 2 sprays and you will be smelt from a mile away. This is very potent. And look at this pressurized atomizer, okay? Check this out. You press lightly, you get a little spritz. You press strong, look at that. It's situational at best. You can only wear it in the fall and winter, but I think this is not meant for the mass appealing, give me compliments type of fragrance. There's also people that are going to be a little bit turned off by this fragrance, but I think that regardless of that, I think that this is very, very good value for your money, and it's hard not to recommend this fragrance as a good entry point to niche. Why would I recommend a niche fragrance that's easy to wear? Like, what's the point? I could just recommend you a designer fragrance at that point. So that's how I personally see it. That's why I recommended that, and that's why I had those other recommendations in mind. But come on, let's be honest, Layton Exclusive is a little bit more challenging than that because of the price tag. It's like $450 Canadian. Okay, now it's come down to the point where I'm supposed to recommend you one fragrance of all of these 3 fragrances that I recommended. Of all of these 3 recommendations, I'm gonna have to go with Versace Dylan Blue, the designer fragrance. This fragrance is incredibly hard not to recommend. Like I said, I recommended one of my friends this as the only designer fragrance that they need because it carries versatility through the age groups, through the seasons, through the situations that you will wear this in. It has a little bit of depth and character. It doesn't smell like the average mass appealing designer fragrance, and it is a very affordable price. That's why I had to go with Versace Dylan Blue. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought of my 3 recommendations, and thank you, Nate from Paragon Fragrances. I appreciate the tag, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you like fragrance videos, I highly suggest you check out this video right here. You're gonna love it, and I'll see you over there.